Hello students, welcome to this online course of hydraulics engineering. So we have completed our discussion of turbulent flow. Now let us move forward and we will be discussing the concept of boundary layer theory. What is boundary layer and what are the various characteristics of boundary layer? Why boundary layer exists? What are the flow conditions around the boundary layer? Like what will be the speed, how it is going to affect our flow, and various displacement factors we are going to study. Today basically we will be focusing on the characteristic property only of the boundary layer. So boundary layer is, let us try to first understand the definition. So when a real fluid flow, boundary layer is, it means like flow which is near to some kind of boundary. If like flow is there and this is the flow happening, and let us say this is some obstruction. Okay, so water is coming all over throughout here, and this layer, the water, the flow layer which is connecting to this boundary, we are interested near the boundary of this obstruction. So that is why this theory is termed as boundary layer theory. Okay, so this is very interesting. So when a real fluid flow past a solid boundary, a layer of fluid which comes in contact with the boundary surface adheres to it on account of viscosity. So viscosity is there, so friction will be there. So friction will tend to retard the motion of the layer which will be in touch or nearer to the boundary. So boundary layer concept is evolving due to the inherent property of the fluid, that is viscosity. Any real fluid will have the viscosity, so it will be seen, this boundary layer concept will be seen in the real fluid. In ideal fluid we assume that viscosity is 0, so there will be no friction and there will be this concept will not exist in ideal fluids. So if real fluid is there and some obstruction is there, or definitely boundary layer concept we have to apply. Since this layer of fluid cannot slip away from the boundary surface, it attains the same velocity as that of the boundary. So what will happen if this is the surface? So flow is happening like in infinite number of layers. So the layer which is the closest to the boundary, what is going to happen to this layer? Because this boundary is not having any velocity, this velocity is 0. So due to no slip condition you must have studied in your first chapter of fluid mechanics. I will be explaining in shorter way, but no slip condition, if you don't know, just go to your fluid mechanics lectures, you will find it. So basically the boundary is having 0 velocity. Okay, so the layer which will be here nearest to the boundary, due to friction or viscosity, it will try to, the friction will, what friction will do, it will retard the motion. And basically due to no slip condition, what is going to happen, this layer will acquire the velocity of this boundary. And what is the velocity of this boundary? 0. That means the layer which is at the nearest to the boundary will have the velocity of the boundary. It is quite possible that it may have some velocity. Okay, maybe some like motion is there and the boundary is also moving with some velocity, so that velocity will be taken by the layer. Okay, so it does not mean it will always be 0. This simply means the velocity of the layer which is the nearest to the boundary will acquire the velocity of the boundary, whatever may be the case. It can be 0, it cannot be 0. So this condition is termed as no slip condition. Okay, because water is not slipping and it is sticking to the boundary. In other words, at the boundary surface there is no relative motion between the fluid and the boundary. That means the condition is no slip condition. No slip condition, it explains the 0 relativity, like no relative motion between boundary and the layer. That is why they will have both have the same velocity. If the boundary is moving, the fluid adhering to it will have the same velocity as that of boundary, as I have explained you. However, if the boundary is stationary, the fluid velocity at the boundary surface will be 0. So in simple way, you can say like whatever is the velocity of the boundary, the layer nearest to the boundary will acquire the same velocity. Thus at the boundary surface, the layer of fluid undergo retardation. So now let us try to understand this thing. So this was the flow. Okay, so what is happening here? This layer will have the velocity. Let us say boundary is at rest, so this will have the velocity 0, and here the velocity is there. Now this condition, what due to the viscosity, the upper layer will try to move. It will also try to move. So from 0 till some distance delta. After delta, what is there? The layer is having velocity again v. Okay, so this delta will be the thickness of the boundary layer. The boundary layer thickness will be defined by the velocity. From 0 velocity till it reaches the layer which will have the velocity of free stream velocity, whatever is the velocity of the free stream. Till that point, whatever is the distance, that distance is the boundary layer thickness. That we will be dealing in more detail. Till now, you just try to understand that some retardation is there, and it will try to move from 0 to, fluid will try to acquire the velocity of free stream, because flow is there, continuity should be maintained. So it will try to increase its velocity from 0 to v. Okay, so this retarded layer of fluid further causes retardation of the adjacent layer of the fluid, thereby developing a small region in the immediate vicinity of the boundary surface, in which the velocity of flowing fluid increases gradually from 0 at the boundary surface to the velocity of the main stream or the free stream, and this region is termed as boundary layer. As I have told you, in the boundary layer region, since there is large variation of velocity in a relatively small distance, there exists a fairly large velocity gradient, because the change in velocity is from 0 to v, and displacement, the thickness of this boundary layer is very small, maybe in the range of millimeter only. So the gradient dv is, the change is high, and the displacement is the thickness is very less. So del v by del y will be high in the boundary layer. Okay, so in this region of boundary layer, even if the fluid has small viscosity, the corresponding shear stress is of appreciable magnitude, because dv by dy is very high. This term you can see, this term is mu times dv by dy, so this is quite high. So even if mu is not that much significant, but the multiplication will give the higher value of tau will be high. That means the shear stress is having a very high magnitude near the boundary. Farther away from the boundary, this retardation due to presence of vicinity is negligible, and the velocity there will be equal to that of mainstream. According to boundary layer theory, the extensive fluid medium around bodies moving in fluid can be divided into two regions. So total boundary layer can be divided into two major regions. A thin layer adjoining the boundary is called the boundary layer, where the viscous shear takes place. A region outside the boundary layer where the flow behavior is quite like that of ideal fluid, and the potential flow theory is applicable. That means one flow is viscous flow within the boundary, and another region is having the zero viscosity. It will act as if viscosity is 0. So this will be the ideal fluid region. So in the same fluid, due to this boundary condition, there will be two type of situations are there. One is real fluid flow, and other is ideal fluid flow. This is not ideal fluid, this is ideal fluid flow. Okay, flow is like ideal fluid, not the fluid itself. The concept of boundary layer was first introduced by L. Prandtl. He was a very great mathematician, and since then this boundary layer application is being used very frequently. Now let us see the boundary layer and first try to understand how this is happening actually, what I am trying to say. So this is your, so let us say these are the layers, and here you are having the layer with velocity 0. Due to this velocity, what is happening here, velocity is, some velocity is there, and at boundary the velocity is 0, but due to continuity the next layer will try to move, and this, due to this 0 velocity, it will retard from velocity, some lesser velocity will be there. As we will move from like boundary towards the center or away from the boundary, the due to less like retardation, the layers will try to acquire the velocity of the free stream or the main stream. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Now let us see what is happening actually. So let us say this is your let me just, yes, this is your free stream. So here velocity is capital V. This is the, let us just say this is some plate, and this is your leading edge, this is the trailing edge. Okay, so this region, whatever you are seeing, is the boundary layer, and outside this boundary layer the velocity is V, capital V. Inside the velocity there is a variation in velocity due to boundary layer existence. So due to very like huge viscosity here, the viscous like forces are predominant in this region, in the region where leading edge is there. So the flow will be as if the flow is laminar due to high velocity gradient, and as we are moving away from the leading edge, the turbulence is going to occur, and this laminar flow will gradually will become the turbulent flow. First it will be in transient region, and then it will become the turbulent boundary layer. So this region is laminar boundary layer, and there will be a smaller region of transition boundary layer, and then a fully developed boundary turbulent boundary layer will exist. Okay, so up till this point, which is like the transition zone, the velocity is parabolic as in the case of laminar boundary layer, and after this, due to turbulent boundary layer, the velocity distribution will become the variation will become logarithmic. Okay, so this is the variation of velocity. As you can see in the smaller region, this here velocity is from 0 to V, and after this region the velocity has become constant, and it is equal to the main stream velocity, that is V. So this was the boundary layer. In the examination, if boundary layer concept has been asked to you, you have to draw this diagram. Okay, explaining each and every concept in this diagram. Every concept related to boundary layer has been shown in detail. Clear? Now let us try to understand the characteristic of the boundary layer with the help of this. Again, the diagram is almost same. So consider a boundary layer formed on a flat plate kept parallel to flow of fluid with velocity capital U. U or V, it is up to you. So here we have taken capital U. Velocity is velocity of the free stream. Though the growth of a boundary layer depends upon the body shape, flow over a flat plate aligned in the direction of the flow is considered, since most of the flow surface can be approximated to a flat place, and for simplicity we are taking flat plate. Okay, this surface can be anything, but for simplicity we can always neglect the third dimension, and it will become a flat plate. So for simplicity only we are considering this to be a flat plate. Okay, and that too smooth, for simplicity only, to derive the theory. As I have already told you in the previous chapters, what like we first try to idealize the situation, then we move towards the reality. First everything we will be taking like ideal situation, like viscosity is 0, flat is perfectly smooth. After deriving some variations or some equations, then we will revolve around that by changing the parameters. Now the edge facing in the direction of flow is called as leading edge, and these are the characteristics of the boundary layer. Okay, the rear edge is called the trailing edge, as I have told you. Near the leading edge of the flat plate, the boundary layer is wholly laminar. As this I've already explained you. For a laminar layer, the velocity distribution is parabolic. This you already know. The thickness of the boundary layer, so thickness is important here. This thickness of the boundary layer increases with the distance from the leading edge. So this is not going to be constant. Here you can see this is less, and as we are moving away from the boundary layer, it is increasing. Here you can show this is very small, and as we have moved forward from the boundary like the leading edge, due to huge turbulence, you will get the thickness of boundary layer increasing towards the trailing end as the x is increasing. So we are taking x reference, this line is a reference, and as we are moving at some x, the delta is going to increase, because as we are moving forward, more the fluid will be slowed down or retarded due to viscous boundary, because there is no slip condition, and the layer has to acquire the velocity of the boundary and become unstable and breaks into turbulent boundary layer over a transition zone. So due to high retardation, and due to stream flow is also occurring, then the turbulence will occur and delta will increase. For a turbulent boundary layer, if the boundary is smooth, the roughness projection are covered by a very thin layer which remains laminar, that is called laminar sublayer. This we already have discussed in the previous lecture, a previous chapter. The velocity distribution in the turbulent boundary layer is given by log law or Prandtler's 1/7 power law, that we will see forward. The velocity is going to be following the 1/7 power law. The power of the variation is 1/7, that we will see by the questions. Now let us see the characteristics of the boundary layer. We are going to summarize. So these things may come in your examination, like in final exam also. So this chapter is theoretically it is very important, because there are a few theory, and this is quite easy also, and you can learn first, try to understand, and then you will be able to write the answers based on this theoretical part. So the thickness of the boundary increases as the distance from the leading edge increases. So this we have already discussed. Okay, so this delta decreases as u increases. That is also correct, because let us just try to see if velocity is very high, so the distance is less. As you are coming backward, velocity is more and more layer is having velocity u, so delta is having lesser value. Delta increases as kinematic viscosity increases, that we will see later, like by how we are claiming this. Tau naught, that is the surface boundary shear, that will be equal to mu times u by delta. This is approximate, because at a very closer end, delta is very small. Tau naught decreases as x increases, because from the leading edge, delta is going to increase and tau naught is having reciprocal relation, so it will decrease. However, when the boundary layer becomes turbulent, it shows a sudden increase and then decreases with increase in x. So due to turbulence, it will suddenly increase, like higher value will be there in spite of delta being higher in turbulent region. So you can see this is delta. So delta for turbulent is very high, but instead of this, tau naught will increase. Okay, and after some point it will decrease with x due to less retardation. When u increases in the downward direction, boundary layer growth is reduced. If you are downward direction, like downstream, and if you are increasing the value of u, the boundary layer is going to decrease. The rate at which delta will be growing, it will get reduced. When velocity decreases in downward direction, flow near the boundary is further retarded, boundary layer growth is faster, and is susceptible to separation. So separation of boundary layer is also occur can also occur if the downward velocity is increased, like up to some limit it will be attached to the boundary, but if velocity has been increased in such a manner that the pressure gradient has become very less, so it will separate. That we will see in more detail, like boundary layer separation is the topic mentioned in your chapter syllabus, so we will see in more detail. So right now we are just summarizing the boundary layer characteristic. This we are going to deal in greater detail, so have patience. Now the various characteristic of boundary layer on flat plate, that is delta, tau naught, or tau naught multiplied by the area, that will be force, are governed by inertial and viscous forces, and hence viscous force and inertial force are related by the Reynolds number. So Reynolds number for this case will be u is the velocity, x is the distance, and nu is the kinematic viscosity, or u L by nu, whatever is the case you can see. So if Reynolds number is less than 5 lakh, that is 5 into 10 to the power 5, boundary layer is laminar. So this is the experimental data you have to remember, because in the question it can be Reynolds number can be given and you have to apply the velocity variation. So you must be knowing which variation is going to occur, because if it is less than 5 lakh then it will be parabolic due to the laminar boundary layer, and if it is greater than 5 lakh then it will be turbulent. So power law or log law will be applying. So depending upon this value you have to apply the velocity distribution or velocity variation. So critical value of u by ux by nu at which boundary layer changes from laminar to turbulent depends upon. So you can see this is the critical value. Up to this value laminar, and here it is turbulent. Okay, so this value is critical. So how we have decided that this value will be critical? Like after this value only turbulent or laminar boundary are going to exist. So this is depending upon various parameters, like turbulence in the ambient flow. So what is the turbulence in the free flow? Okay, surface roughness. So what is the roughness of the surface? Pressure gradient, that is del p by del x. This is a very important parameter. We will see in much more detail about this quantity in the boundary layer separation. Plate curvature, whether the plate is curved or it is flat or it is concave. So how it is, the curvature is there, it will decide the value of this critical Reynolds number. Temperature difference between fluid and the boundary. So generally temperature is not very much like affecting this thing, but if it is there, it will affect the value of Reynolds number. Now the next point is, though the velocity distribution would be parabolic curve in laminar sub-layer zone, but in view of the very small thickness, we can reasonably assume that velocity distribution is linear, and so the velocity gradient can be considered constant. So what it is trying to say, this line in the laminar, like let me just show you the diagram directly, this diagram. So here you can see the variation is parabolic. You can see from here this variation is parabolic. Okay, but this distance delta is very small. So this parabola, if for like very small height, this can be treated as a straight line, 1 degree curve. Okay, so instead of 2 degree curve, we can like approximate it as without significant error. We can say that this line is straight, the variation is straight, and this we are going to use like very extensively, and it is very important assumption in boundary layer concept. So this is all for today. Thank you.